white Porsches. The lights go green, and the two silver Mercedes move as one, but it's Schneider on the inside with the yellow mirrors. Schneider takes the lead, locks up a wheel going into that first right-hander, but it's Schneider from Ludwig. Then it's Gunon and Mailander in the two blue Mercedes, but one of the Porsches is right up there, and then the Paynos with his headlights on already as they fan out to go down to that first chicane, the Jim Clark chicane, which is approaching them now as they come up to about 190 miles an hour, and Mercedes, and then a Porsche into that first chicane, and it's Schneider, then it's Ludwig, Gunon, Mailander, Jörg Müller under pressure from the Paynos, it's Eric Bernard in the Paynos, and we're riding now with Michael Bartels in the Zack-Speed Porsche. Ahead of him, the black McLaren, that's Jeff Lees, who's well up to about 215 miles an hour round the Ostkurve. They're coming up to the second chicane, the Ostkurve chicane on the brakes now. The brake lights go on, tight into that right and then left, and then right again, those unforgiving curbs before they're hard on the power to go down the long drag, which will take them to the third chicane, the Ayrton Senna chicane. Yellow mirrors lead red mirrors, that's Schneider leading Ludwig, then the two blue Mercedes, but there's a battle behind them. The Paynos has moved up a place. Yes, the Paynos goes ahead of the faster of the Porsches. Müller is passed by Eric Bernard, trying very hard in the Paynos. The GT2 cars all jockeying for position behind them, but four Mercedes in the lead, and the front-engined American V8 powered Paynos is in fifth place, ahead of two Porsches, a McLaren and the two green Zack-Speed Porsches. This is only the first lap. There's a long, long way to go, but the race is well and truly on as they come back into the chicane section, round that tight left-hander, which is the Saxe-Curve, then the double right-hander, the Sudkurve. Look at Müller closing right up under braking on the Paynos. The Paynos still, though, holding on to that fifth place ahead of the two Porsches behind the four Mercedes as they cross the start-finish line and begin their second lap. Still, Schneider leading Ludwig, leading Gunon, leading Mailander, then Eric Bernard in the Paynos, and then it's Jörg Müller and Yannick Dalmas in the two white Porsches as they go back out of the stadium section down that long, slightly right curving straight, which will take them back to the first chicane, back into the Hockenheim forests. Oh, and a spin here. Only the second lap, but that's Franz Conrad, who's got it completely wrong under braking for turn one. The gravel has done its job and slowed him down, and already the leaders are back with us in the stadium. Still the four Mercedes. That number 7 Porsche, that's Yannick Dalmas in the car that he will share with Alan McNish. We ride once more with Michael Bartels, who's getting very, very close under braking to the twitching black McLaren ahead of him, driven by Jeff Lees. Over the start-finish line once more. Bartels in one of the green Zack-Speed Porsches that make up the quartet of the new GT1 Porsches here today. They go round the first corner of the lap. That's the Nordkurve, a tight right-hander. And now hard on the power as they go down the long, long straight. Hockenheim, a circuit of long straights punctuated by chicanes. The McLaren has eased away down the straight, but when we get up around this slight right-hand curve to the first of the chicanes, the Jim Clark chicane, they're at it now, and on the brakes goes Michael Bartels, flicks it through and back onto the straight once more, and here the course takes a more definite right-hand curve up to the Ostkurve. This used to be a flat-out, dauntingly quick right-hand curve, but this too has a chicane, and doing a quick lap around Hockenheim is all about braking distances. You brake as late as you dare, but if it's too late, you'll miss the chicane. If you brake too early, you lose contact with the man in front, and as the speeds climb again once more towards 200 miles an hour, if you're close enough to the car in front, you may get a slipstream tow, which will give you an extra few hundred RPM, and you can creep nearer to your quarry. On go Jeff Lee's brake lights. Now Bartels is hard on the brakes, turn it left, and then right, and then left again. And now this final piece of straight, trying to stay in touch with the McLaren as we go down towards the right-hand corner, which will take us back into the stadium section, out of the forest. It's coming up now on the brakes once more. A sharp right turn as Bartels leans the Zack-Speed Porsche across to that apex. Now over to the right-hand side of the road for the tightest corner on the circuit. The long, long second gear left-hander, which is the Saxe-Curve. Second apex there, now on the power once more, and across to the the double right-hander, the Sudkurve, which will take us past the grandstands, clipping that final apex, twitching away at the wheel, and over the start-finish line to start another lap. Early stop for one of the GT2 911 Porsches. That's Rostan's Paul Belmondo racing car, which seems to be in some sort of early trouble. And meanwhile, look at this lead that Bernd Schneider is starting to build. His second-place teammate holding the opposition back as Bernd Schneider, the reigning FIA GT champion, dances on the brakes into the chicane with that V8 lightweight CLK Mercedes, which is looking a very daunting and powerful piece of machinery indeed. He's coming out of the Ayrton Senna chicane as his teammate Ludwig comes into it. Ludwig still has the two-person Mercedes, Gunnar Mailander behind him. The Paynos, incidentally, has now yielded that fifth place to the Porsche of Jörg Müller, although he's having a little look down the inside as they come down into the stadium once more. There's Yannick Dalmas following the Paynos, and we're seeing a replay. This shows how Bernd Schneider can use the chicanes, that car bouncing over the curbs there, and you can see how little suspension movement these cars have. If you go over a bump, the wheels come up into the air. The back wheel's right off the ground there. But it's a strong car. Bernd Schneider, a hard and strong driver, and if he wants to use the curbs, he will. He obviously has faith that the car will stay together in a long race. Franz Conrad's got his little GT2 911 out of the gravel, back to the pits. They're sorting it out. Franz Conrad no doubt rueing the fact that he left his braking too late on his first flying lap for turn one. And the Paynos right on Jörg Müller's tail now. This Paynos is going gangbusters. It's very, very quick down the straight. It is more unwieldy, a big heavy car, than the Porsche when they go through the twists and the turns. But Eric Bernard and his teammate David Brabham, who'll be driving the car in the second stint, they really know how to get this car to pick up its skirts and go down the straights. Through the twists, he loses track of Müller a little bit, and in fact Müller now is starting to put the push on Mailander. Mailander in the blue Mercedes. Jörg Müller, look at him once more, close right up under braking for the Sudkurve. And it's not until they get back onto the straight that the blue Mercedes eases away from the white Porsche, and at the same time the silver Paynos starts to creep closer, with Yannick Dalmas and the other Porsche playing bridesmaid, watching the battle go on at the back of this little queue. And what you must remember is that the Paynos team is, in the context of the hugely professional FIA GT Championship, a tiny little team, a little American outfit, front-engine car designed by Adrian Reynard, who of course will be building the BAR Formula One cars next year. They're just lapping Franz Conrad's little 911 GT2 Porsche, which has come out of the pits. Oh, and a big twitch there from Mailander. Mailander starting to come under real pressure now from Jörg Müller. That little mistake that Mailander made has allowed Jörg Müller to get very, very close to him. Jörg Müller tucked up in the slipstream of the blue Mercedes. The Paynos following on too, but that little mistake from Mailander might have given Jörg Müller a chance, but it didn't, and now they're back at the chicane once more. The Paynos stuck right close. It's a great four-car battle for fourth place between the Mercedes, the Porsche, the Paynos and the other Porsche. GT racing at its absolute best. Meanwhile, the leading Mercedes are well in among the little GT2 cars, so traffic is now becoming a problem for the faster cars as they lap the slower ones. The Vipers, incidentally, running 1 and 2 in GT2. Olivier Beretta leading Carl Wendlinger. There they are, in fact. That's the pair of Chrysler Vipers, which are at the moment 1 and 2 in the equally important GT2 category. One of the Vipers in the pits. That's the Chamberlain Engineering car of Nii Amorim, and we understand it's come in to serve a 10-second penalty. We don't know quite what its transgression was, but Nii Amorim has brought the Chamberlain car in, served his 10 seconds, has come out again, as Bernd Schneider closes up on a couple more of these ubiquitous GT2 911 Porsches, and once more we see the ruthless use that Bernd Schneider puts to the curbs. Just throws that harshly sprung Mercedes over the curbs, darts between two 911s and then goes the other side of the other one, as behind, slipping ever further behind, Klaus Ludwig in the red mirrored car holds on to his second place. Little indicator going from one of the 911s to say to Jean-Marc Gounon, you can come past me on that side. A Ford Mustang there, for heaven's sake, being